and welcome to Shock's Arcade Lounge Content Creator Spotlight. So, I am here with another special guest and someone that I like to really much like to introduce into today's podcast, and also I like to call this a collaboration. It is none other than Kagerimi, and of course, welcome. Well, for this particular case, we'll just call you Kage, since I like to believe that's something you prefer to be called by, since it's a little bit more easy to get people remembering as who you are and get to knowing you. So welcome, Kage. So how are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here. How you doing?
I'm doing good, and I'm glad that you're, excited to be here. And of course, it's actually been interesting to see that we are pretty much doing more of these collabs. Well, especially, we're getting a lot of episodes. Well, all of us doing all of these episodes together, we're putting it all in. So it's very exciting to do all of this stuff. So, before we get started with the questions, basically tell us about yourself. So I think actually that's kind of like the question, but if anything, so you're basically a VTuber, right?
Yeah, like mainly I make and do the models. I haven't streamed that much as of recent because I've been busy grinding. But yeah, I'm like a VTuber and artist.
Ooh, nice. And okay. So one thing that I must ask is that for people who want to get to know you, at least for those of from my communities and of course many communities across, what's like your most what is like the your most what's the right way to call this? Like when you basically want to see yourself, like what's like the I mean, you see right here, like you can see from the video, this is a bat, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, what was the origins of that exactly?
Well, my character's like a vampire, right? And I show up on it's mainly the mascot for she stream, but it's basically like my mascot when I don't want to take up a ton of space on someone else's stream. Just think of it kind of like a chibi version of myself. It's like a little transformation sort of thing. It's yeah.
Ooh, nice. And yes, as he mentioned before, Kagerimi, or in this case Kage, streams alongside with Sanashi, which
Mm-hmm.
is also another VTuber, and you two have been very close together for about for how many years now? If that's okay to
It's
ask.
coming on 10 right now. It's like 9.5-ish, I believe. It's like we've known
That's
each other
really
for longer
impressive.
than that, but didn't really get close until around that time. But yeah, it's been about, I guess for simplicity's sake, about 10 years.
Wow, that's really impressive. I mean, kudos to you and Zanashi for really being close together for that long. And honestly, it shows a lot that you guys have been able to endure both back and forth, being close together. And, you know, aside from that, you guys have been very much, been very close, been able to help each other. And of course, even, like when it comes to the streams, you both are very supportive with each other, which I respect a highly amount for that. So
Supportive.
kudos to you on that.
But yeah, no, although it doesn't seem like it, I am nice, I'm not mean like I always am on stream, but yeah. Yeah, no, but yeah. Uh it's really fun, I think it's a pretty unique thing that a lot of people don't do is duo streaming. Like most people just solo stream. It's there's not very many people who exclusively stream together, Like that's really a fun thing, unique thing about us, I think.
And that's a really, really cool thing because it really shows like there's a lot of communication, growth between a two people in one kind of stream, and of course like whenever something comes up, you're at least helping out with the majority while the other person's doing something else, or you guys switch back and forth with this kind of thing. So there's literally a lot of hands-on support consistently, which is again really admirable. And yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. There's not that many people who do stuff that you and she do. And again, that's like something that I gotta say that's really impressive considering that it's been more than 10, like, it's already been 10 years, like, well, 9.5 as you say.
Yeah,
And it just shows again how much care and work has been put into all of this.
yeah. Like, I know there are a lot of like things where people stream together and do collabs and stuff, but like mainly in the VTuber scene, I can only really think of say like one of the like main people who do like duo streams where they stream together. So it's like that's the main thing I was talking about. But yeah,
That's really impressive. And even though you do work alongside with Chi and everything, do you do your own times, like your own streams time to time?
uh, not really, but I mean, I do my like stream if you mean like on my side. Like I do stream like my own POV if that's what you mean. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I do. I haven't recently cuz I was like grinding on my like new model that I just got uh and stuff. But like now that I have it, I'm going to do like a lot more like my POV streams and stuff, you know. Maybe like I've mentioned like maybe some like art streams or like rigging streams, like that kind of stuff, like solo stuff might be fun to do,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, and that'd be good to see because, like, honestly, I have seen bits of your art here and there, and I really do like how you make, how you make them, especially. And I always believe, like, from when we got to know each other time to time, it's like there was a lot about that. I go, oh wow, there's a lot that you really have in here, and it's like, I mean, let's be real, like, it's a lot difficult to truly build, like, let's say, like, a lot from coming like on your own sometimes, especially like even if like you've been streaming for so many years, like
Yeah,
it can be different because like the attention span for many viewers these days goes from I want to look into this and then they want to look into something else, and it's like yeah, like it's a consistent grind to always trying to maintain an audience just to stick around, even if it's like they know they like to see more. The attention span sometimes lately for some is like very out there, like it's very different, you know what I mean?
yeah. It's like hard to build like a viewership if you're not consistent as well, because like a lot of the times like the algorithm only really pushes you on certain sites if you're like streaming or if you're like putting out videos like say like once a day or like very consistently, say for like Twitch. That's like you have to be like a consistent schedule. But like that's pretty difficult for say like artists who like want to put a lot of effort into that work, like it pushes like more quantity than quality, a lot of these days I found. So like that's why it's hard to grow on some like platforms posting your art. But like obviously I do art because like I enjoy it, right? Not because I want to be famous. But you know what I mean, right? Like it's nice when you draw like something and you get recognition for it. That's nice.
Yeah, I truly do believe that because it's a little difficult sometimes. Like, I mean, even for myself, for doing this YouTube thing for 12 years, it's like
hmm
you could do something where, like, oh, I'm playing an online match or I'm doing something like that is not my usual thing. Like, for example, the Among Us video that I made, like, I got rid of it because it's not that I didn't hate it or nothing. It's just more like I feel like it was just a small little fun little project, just to
Yeah.
see if like something was interesting, and then very little came by. So I go, oh well, I'll make another one. Maybe I'll do something where it's like maybe I'll just make it longer, or maybe I'll do something different. I do have a copy of it, but it's more like just a review. Is like, okay, what made this kind of work, but what also can be better the next time. And then of course, like going back to what you're saying, is like, yeah, it's true because the algorithm is both a blessing but a curse sometimes because it often gets you people to be interested in what you're doing, but then it also shifts into something that it thinks is giving to others that oh what it thinks should be considered to watch. It's like the same way where if you're on Twitch, like someone would randomly come into your stream and it would only be because apparently the algorithm in Twitch favors you today, or say in that day,
Yeah.
but then the next time it won't be able to do that until like some other RNG aspect of it kind of just goes back into your favor, you know?
Yeah. especially when they added that whole like new thing on like YouTube where you have to put the bell on to get notifications, and like it's just another thing for someone to click. And then like Twitch, where sometimes it like auto like it like you get like the Twitch message in your like email or like on your phone or something, the notification when someone goes live. Sometimes they just randomly decide to uncheck it, so like you lose people who follow you before and like obviously maybe have forgotten about you, don't get the notification and stuff like that. It's like kind of like it's getting like a little bit more like difficult, I feel like, these days. But
I do
yeah.
believe that, yeah. Especially when it comes to like, I mean, like I kid you not, like recently Twitch is like doing some different changes, and it's like, with the new, oh, knock knock, I want to
Oh
collaborate, and
god.
that's a whole different
That's
conversation.
awful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole different conversation with that one. But I mean, I kind of see what they're trying to do with this, but it feels like it needs to be considerably reworked into all of it because
Yeah, it's like
it's
intrusive.
yeah, it's a bit intrusive. It's like you could literally get some random person to come in. On top of that, it's like I hear there's some sort of flaws, especially if you're like a VTuber or something.
Yeah.
So it's like imagine you're trying to like trying to keep literally as you want to be,
Hmm.
very private to yourself, that kind of thing, and then suddenly that kind of just bypasses certain things or it messes up
Yeah.
some settings, and you have to ask yourself, oh my goodness, I don't know why this is a thing. So
Yeah.
hopefully they can do
It's
something to rework that.
it's not even like the feature that's bad. It's the fact that you can't opt out of it. You literally can't opt out of it. Like it's always on, and if you say turn off, it comes back on at the next stream at the start. Like there are like there's like one way to bypass it, like having no favorites and like saying only your favorites can knock. But like even then, it's still like a feature that's like, it's like something they could have done something good with and had like a more positive reception if they just, you know, tweaked a few things with it. But like the
Yeah,
person
they
who's like
should.
double downing who made the feature saying like I don't want to do anything with it. It's just like just let people opt out of it, because like I'm gonna be real, if people weren't gonna use it in the first place, what's the harm of letting them opt out of it? Like
Exactly. Like, like it's a thing where literally people should be able to choose to be able to get out of this kind of stuff because again, it as you say it is like intrusive, and at the same time it's like it's like they basically just push this right out there just to see if they can generate something, like, so they want to have like a big giant upward of a community positivity, but
yeah,
instead it ended up having shown that it's getting more flaws and not many people want to use it. That's already going to tell them, oh
yeah,
hey, clearly we need to fix this because now people are starting to hate this idea and we don't want to lose people going to like I mean, what's even funnier, which is again, I don't mind talking about this because this is a really good topic, the good subject.
yeah.
I've been seeing some people now wanting to go into YouTube instead, which
I've been seeing that, hearing that for a while. Yeah.
yeah, like I actually was like seeing this on a note on Instagram, like from a high school friend that I knew for years, and they asked, "Oh, what's like the best way to get started with YouTube?" And I literally just messaged them, just telling them like saying, "Hey, the one thing that you should probably do is, if I remember saying, focus on making projects that you want to show on the channel and decide what kind of content or what audience do you want to make specifically. Because being a variety content creator, say this thing, this thing, this thing is great. At least it shows that you are very capable of doing multitask or multi genres. Unfortunately, when it comes to being a variety content creator, it could also basically mean that you're gonna have to struggle which kind of audience do you want to really stick by the most, and at the
Yeah.
same time be able to be consistent with this. So it's like it's a rough area when it comes to that.
Yeah, I feel that because it's the same way with like art as well. Because like, it's really easy to grow. Like I say easy, but I don't mean easy, but it's a lot easier to grow as like a niche artist. Like say like you draw almost exclusively a certain series or like a certain character. Like, but like if you want to be like an artist that like draws like a variety of characters, like from like different series, different genres, it's so much harder to grow because like the people who like look at this and be like, oh, I like this character, I like this art, like they end up liking your tweet but like not following you, you know? Like I mean, like obviously like it's not like a big deal like in terms of like that kind of stuff, but like you get what I mean, like with the variety and stuff, it's like it's a bit difficult. Like with anything, it's the same concept is what I mean.
Yeah, I do know where you're coming from because like it's like you could have like a hit tweet, but you're not going to get the same amount of like, the quote likes that you get from the tweet as you would get follows back on your Twitch or on your Instagram or on your
Mm-hmm.
other platform because it's like it's basically, I mean, I'm going to be real by saying this because this is how I like to basically say it, but it's like just because people would like your tweet, that does not necessarily mean people are gonna actually stick around to follow you what you're gonna do. They
Yeah, I
they
mean
they,
it's
they
the
agree
truth.
with what you think because it coincides to what they think, but it's not really going to be the same as like, oh, they're gonna follow you because they like of what you do. Maybe
Yeah,
at best five to minimum to maximum at best from what I see, 15% will stay for that,
yeah,
but even then, that's just like how it is. Like, you're not going to really get that much people who want to stick around for
yeah,
legitimately for that reason. And it's a sad thing, but you know what? That's the real truth out of it. That's basically how it is.
yeah. 'Cause I remember a while ago when I was like trying to grow my Instagram, there would be like people would like put out these like percentages and stuff like for like retention rates or whatever, of like how many, like you could look up like how compared to how many likes a tweet gets to how many followers you have and stuff, and like that's like a lot of the things that people don't understand is like if you have like say 5,000 followers, you're not going to get 5,000 likes on your like thing on like your tweet or your Instagram, whatever. Like usually it's around like 11%, or it used to be when I was like actually trying to grow my Instagram. Like it was like 11% was like of your followers. So say you had like 500 followers, you'd probably get about 50, 40 likes or something. It's like the harsh
Yeah.
truth that like a lot of people like don't know, you know? Like it's like it's so much harder to grow because like if you're not doing like a niche, or like if you're not doing like something that's like popular right now, or like not even doing something that's popular because then that can get like oversaturated and stuff. There's so many factors to like factor in. It's like you have to like learn how to like juggle like a bunch of different skill sets. It's like that's just part of the grind though.
Oh, absolutely. Like that's when it comes to like I mean for me like I mean yeah, I do a lot of fighting and stuff, but I'm no artist. But yet I do go out to meet people, to network with people. I mean, me and you are chatting. We're basically
Yeah.
like continents apart from each other, but we
Yeah.
both know what it's like to truly work hard with the grind, especially since, we're both, well, we have a lot of online interactions. And of course, we
Hmm.
both now from here understand what it's like. The grind is a very difficult process. It's a tedious one, but worth it if you want to really make the effort into what you do. And sometimes
Yeah.
it does show up in a very interesting way of how it rewards you with that, in this case.
Yeah. Like absolutely.
Alrighty, so I'm not gonna lie, I really like that we ended up like just having that good conversation. I really
Yeah.
like that. So anyway, let's get started with the questions that we have here. So for people that want to get to know you, as I said, besides, well, you already explained the chibi, the chibi bat. Basically,
Hmm.
you have this vampire. Um, I want to call it a theme. And it's really cool,
Yeah.
honestly. So, what is the origin of your username? Kagerimi. Where did that
Yeah.
actually came from?
Well, like a while ago, like I think like before I had like a handle, I used to like when I first did it, I really liked this character from like this game, like visual novel called Rewrite. Their name was Kagari, like Kagari, and
Ooh.
I changed it up a bit, changed because it's like instead of Kageri, it was Kagari. So I changed it to like Kagari like that. I know I'm pronouncing it weird to like enunciate, but like I like that's where I got Kagari from. But I also liked this other visual novel called Little Busters. It has like an anime and everything, but like
Ooh,
I mashed
okay.
together like my favorite two characters' names. That character's called Sasami, so I put Kagerimi at the end. It's funny because everyone says it sounds like it's like Italian or whatever. That's what I just get told. But yeah, that's basically where I got it from. I like merged two of my favorite characters' names together.
I can understand that. And I was gonna say, I mean, how do you kind of mention that? Like from the first time we got to know each other, I honestly thought that sounded like an Italian type kind of
Yeah, I know.
username,
Yeah.
and I thought it was really creative because it sounds like a Kagerimi, like a special type of Italian name or something.
Mhm.
So I thought that was pretty interesting. And wow, huh? You know, speaking of visual novels, I think the ones that I have only seen was, I mean, mind you, I get involved with fighting and stuff. Like the one that I
Yeah.
saw was like a King of Fighters one. So to me, I
Mhm.
haven't seen like any good ones. Like, well, I haven't
Yeah.
seen a technical visual novels other than what's this one? The one with it's
I
like the
think.
one where you're in a classroom, but you have to make
Yeah.
sure
Yeah.
you pick
Yeah.
the right. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Sorry, I was cutting you off. I was. I was. Yeah.
No worries. But yeah, like, stuff like that. So I've always, I like that the origin came from also blending it, coming in together, because that shows like that's a lot of unique um, building from inspirations that you're coming from what you've enjoyed and everything. And I just
Mhm.
think that's like a really nice way to explain where that came from.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So, the next question that I want to ask is, what is it like being a VTuber?
It's like different. It's like. I mean, like, not to be like I'm not like the other girls, but you know, like, it's a little bit different because like you have to like, engage with the community a little different than say if you're like face cam streamer or like just a regular streamer. But like it's really fun. Like there's like the like the making of the models that I really enjoy, and like seeing them actually like come to fruition after you've like drawn them and like rigged them. It's like the whole community has like a sort of like it's like they're really like proud of their like characters and like designs and stuff, and it's really fun to be like sharing like your designs and stuff. It's like I don't know how really to explain it, but like it's nice when someone's like, like, hey, your model looks really good. It's like, thanks, like, yeah, it's like, it's like making models for other people and stuff as well is really fun, seeing like them get excited over it. It's kind of like, it's like that.
That's really cool, honestly, because it's like you basically get to. I mean, considering that you're an artist and you do a lot of like rigging and everything from what you mentioned earlier, it's like
Hmm.
you basically get to represent what you like to wear for yourself, for your OC, and for your creative character. You can do like a summer outfit, or you could expand on the character's design, like instead of like just a regal royal um, suit and everything, you can actually have like a second form, a final form, or
Hmm.
Dark Souls inspired or something like that. And it's like you get to decide what your model looks like, and you have like freedom to really do that. Because
Yeah.
just putting this out there, I think I've seen some whenever they kind of like are part of a network, they kind of do get a chance to really design what it is. It's more like there's like restrictions, I have to imagine, in some kind of instance. But at least since you're like an indie
Yeah.
VTuber, it's like a little bit more freedom to do what you want to go with, right?
Yeah, especially when you're like in contact, like close to your artist. Like obviously it's she, and I'm the one who does the rigging as well. It's like if you want to add something, you can literally just like add it. Especially when you rig your own stuff. A lot of the VTubers don't have that like that what's the word privilege because
Mm.
uh they have to spend like a ton of money and like stuff on like a model. It's like yeah, it's like especially when you're in contact with like your artist, like you can just like basically I guess we do like trades because I rig her model, she draws mine. It's like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Uh,
like Like basically helping one to another in this case.
Like we're getting like equal exchange out of it, you know. But
It's
like,
really good.
yeah, like that's the thing. Like, you know, it's like you can always be like, oh yeah, Halloween's coming up soon. Can you get me like a, like a, sort of like
Halloween.
accessory, a themed outfit, like fake blood coming down my mouth, stuff like that. Like there's like it's like endless basically when you're like it's like a lot of freedom and I like really like that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like you can work around with. You can just tweak a couple of things here and there, and like you said, as long as you have like you help each other out, but you also are very close to who you work with. There's boundless options that you can work with, which is really great.
Mhm.
Alrighty. The next one that I want to ask is, what are your hobbies or your favorite games?
uh I mean my hobbies basically are games and like art basically. um my favorite like genres for games are like JRPGs, like Souls-like games like Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Lies of P, stuff like that. I actually like addicted to gacha games. No, but like I really like gacha games and stuff like that. I mean, like my favorite games to list a few now. I'll probably miss a few, but it's like Xenoblade, Persona,
Ooh.
Monster Hunter, obviously Devil May Cry. Been playing a lot of like FF14 recently. There's also like those kinds of like chill farming games like Rune Factory, and there's like the like the Atelier series, like
Yeah.
Ryza, Sophie, like Sophie, stuff like that. Um, Story of Seasons, Harvest Moon, whatever those are called. But yeah, basically those ones like gacha games, like obviously like Honkai, like Nikke, stuff like that. I mean, when Tekken came out, I was like hyper into it. I didn't really, I haven't played that much of it recently, but I'm like, I saw the new like Lydia came out, and I kind of wanted to try her out a bit, you know,
Oh
that kind
yeah,
of
you'll
stuff.
like her. You'll like her.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's a little bit more, I want to say she's a little more execution heavy, but I feel like once you kind of get used to how she plays, like, take it from me, like, I was training my cousin who was sort of new to Tekken,
Yeah.
and basically she just likes playing, she liked playing Reina because she just thought, like, I like this one. I like the dangerous woman energy that she's giving out,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
when Lydia came out, I remember playing a little bit of her since Tekken. She was technically from Tekken 7, so
Yeah.
I trained her a little bit, and then she got used to it, and she goes like, "Wow, playing Lydia does help you improve better with Tekken because it kind of gives you an idea how you actually can play the game and sort of like better like know how you use your movements or just knowing when
Yeah.
to hit, when to strike."
Like the fundamentals basically teaches you.
Yeah, it's funny, like a DLC character that gives you fundamentals is something that you go, ah yes, I paid
Yeah.
five
Pay like
ninety nine
five
for
bucks.
characters to give
Yeah.
me the for the fundamentals startup. So it's like it's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of which, like if there was like a new Persona 6 or something, would that be exciting for you or not
Yeah, I would
really?
probably freak it. Like, I know the DLC for the like Persona 3 remake is either out or coming out soon. And I still haven't fully finished Persona, the new Persona 3, but I'm like excited. I just put it off a bit because I think the Elden Ring DLC came out. We've been like hyper fixated on that. But
I don't blame you. It's
yeah.
like a lot of stuff like updating stuff is coming by around, so you gotta
Hmm.
take what you can going back and forth with all of that too. So yeah, the remake for Persona 3 is really good. I will
Yeah.
admit that. I was able to get a glimpse of that thanks to family that play different games, so they gave
Yeah.
me a chance to test it out everything. So that's the good thing for me
Hmm.
is like I got a lot of families who prefer playing RPGs, ones that like to play a lot of Resident Evil,
Oh yeah,
and
Resident
some that
Evil's
will
the one I
play.
love too.
Yeah, which one is your favorite actually?
uh, 4, actually.
Same,
Yeah.
same.
It's
Like both the remake
nostalgia,
and yeah.
but yeah, the remake. I think I have like almost 100 hours on it on Steam or something. Because
Not bad.
a while ago, I was actually like learning how to speedrun the game, when it first came out, because I liked it that much. But yeah,
I can understand. I can believe that. But still, that's pretty cool, though. I guess you and I have a lot in common with the fact that we like four, the remake especially, and
hmm
honestly, like I think I like the memes with four when even after all it came out, like you could see Leon like jumping into the ski, but then he just stays in midair while the ski just goes on its own.
oh yeah, that there's a bunch of memes with RE4.
RE4 is like the game that that there's a lot of RE related memes, so there's definitely that.
Yeah, I think
Anyway,
it's yeah.
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I was saying I think it's just the fact that Leon's personality is just really easy to meme. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like you could literally hear the like people were already going on the whole like when the remake was announced, they go like, oh, he better be, like he better at least be faithful to the remake. Like,
hmm
he doesn't have to be too funny, but he has to be like at least like like he's just like, I'm just sick and tired as fuck it. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Alrighty. Now since you are an artist, I have to ask, what does art mean to you? Like, what is that? Like, when the word art comes to mind, what is the meaning for you for that?
Well, I mean, basically for me, it's like a way to like show like appreciation for like a certain series, like like I draw like fan art mainly of like certain series, show appreciation of it, uh like for like OCs as well, it can be like a way to like express myself, I guess, like
Yeah.
if you think about like my like like the OCs I make and like the things I'm into, I can like whatchamacall, like concentrate that all into like one character and be like, this is the character, this is my character, I love all these things about them, you know it's like that kind of stuff, like eventually I do want to start like my own like manga based around like a certain like character that I've been thinking about for a while, like you know
Ooh.
that kind of stuff, like yeah, I've been thinking about it for a while. It's just like getting the execution of my art style up to the like standard of what I'd like, that kind of stuff. It's like, you know, it's like a
Yeah.
grind to improve, but like not comparing myself to anyone else but myself is basically the thing I like to do for art, because, as long as I am better than I was like last week, then that's good.
Yeah, like you sound like you want to constantly improve and you also want to venture on something extremely new, which, like making your own manga, creating your own story, and being able to say to yourself, like, with each improvement or with each day as you try to improve well, basically your skills one day to another, you feel like you feel happy when you really improved yourself. So from what I gather, art is like a way to improve yourself not only as an artist but also as as an individual and as a creative. You feel like art basically improves you every time you do something new.
Yeah, it's like the first thing I see when I'm like in a new series, or like when I'm watching something, or like, it's like how can I like show my favorite parts of this and like express it through art, you know, it's like I'm always like looking at things and like certain objects and seeing how like the light reflects off of it, and like what kind of shadows it casts and stuff. It's like it's really strange, like being like when just someone who like sees stuff as like compared to like when you observe it, because like there's a lot of things you don't notice about certain things. Like that's one of the main things that like is really nice about being an artist, is like you can really see things for like how they are, to be like you don't like understand, like you didn't understand before, and when you see something and it clicks, it's like a really nice feeling, like you'd be like when there's light uh like shining off of things and stuff. It's like,
Like a
oh yeah, this is
revelation.
how this works. Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Ooh, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, like a revelation of like, wait, I have an idea. Like I know I was inspired with this, and I'll go with this, and I'll turn it into my own perspective, but also be faithful to where it came from, like referencing it. But it's like a love. It's like a. I know how, like when it comes to some shows or with some mangas or some things like that, like they show like a little reference to something they've like. The easiest one that I can tell you from what I've seen when it comes to anime and with manga is the Akira bike slide. I have
Yeah,
seen
yeah, yeah.
many times that always been used as a reference because either they had seen that or they read the manga or especially seeing the movie since it's an
Yeah.
old anime movie. There's been numerous times in animations where you see that slide all the time
Yeah.
being referenced with different characters, mind you, but it's
Mm-hmm.
clear like they want to showcase, oh, this is so cool, but I want to be able to
Yeah.
see this with my OC, with my character, with my design, or with
Yeah.
my perspective. So
And
that's a
it's
really good example to showcase what you were describing with that. You get what I mean,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
It's like
that's really
basically
cool.
to like show your appreciation to like the medium, I guess, is like the biggest thing. Because like I definitely see a lot of artists doing that with the bike and stuff, and there's certainly other ones as well. But like, it's just really cool to see like a bunch of like people coming together to like appreciate like something, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Especially when it comes to like, being appreciative of the culture and the tradition and even the history of it because there's
Yeah.
like a lot of times that, people, especially when it comes to art, they also want to be very faithful to where it originated from, how it was created, or at least they try to not really necessarily replicate it, but rather follow the
Yeah.
the instruction of how it came to be. Like there's like some art that you could make like on a canvas or very specific type of material, at least to what I've
Mm-hmm.
noticed. And it's like, okay, they could have done this on a different thing. It's like true, but because they truly appreciate this, in some cases you want to do it like this because it's more of like being it's not really calling it appropriate. It's more like just being
Yeah.
faithful to what it is.
Yeah.
That's
Like
why
showing
like that
respect to
word
the
gets
original.
yeah, and then sometimes like the word appropriate kind of gets a little mishandled sometimes because
Mm-hmm.
it's supposed to sound like a thing where it's like, oh, I get what you mean, but then it kind of gets taken out of context or it gets jumbled up into a different thing, and that's another discussion itself.
Yeah.
um, as the days and years come by, what do you see yourself in the future?
Yeah. I mean, eventually I would like to build up like a, you know, like a community of like, be like a streamer. I mean, I'm wording this really weird, but like, like do rigging for like a bunch of like VTubers, and like, be like a streamer. Obviously it's gonna take like a lot of grinding and stuff, and like, like basically I want to see like, doing like art commissions, rigging commissions, being a streamer and like being in a place like I want to be, being able to like, you know, stream like the games, the like processes and stuff of the stuff I like. That would be like really cool, you know?
I can definitely see that, especially when it comes to what you just mentioned and everything, because that itself, I know, like, doing all of that takes a lot of time. But I believe
Yeah,
that you
for
have the
sure.
ability to really do so. And of course, besides my community, I like to believe a lot of different communities close to you and even, around you are definitely up to getting to know you both as a creative, as a content creator, and also as someone who generally just wants to give something for the community as someone who gives a service. You help out someone and they will help you, and they like that's how most communities are built. Sometimes it's not just through like being able to get through the funds, because let's be real, that's one important thing, but it's also
Yeah.
recognizing the fact, yeah, you want to build an audience, you want to have people look and see what you do, and you want to have like a presence that shows, hey, I want to really help a lot of people, I want to really build a community of really kind-hearted individual folks who like to really like what I do, but also are very supportive of other people's around me. And that's the cool
Mm-hmm.
thing about it. I do believe you can build that over time, and I do see that on you, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the biggest thing is just like, like building a community isn't just like building a community for yourself. It's like, the people in the community can like share their things and what they like doing. That's like that's like one of the like things that's like I think is like the nicest thing about building up like a community. I would say is like, you know, people be supportive of like you said, of like their works and stuff. And it's like, you know, say like build a community around artists. It's like other artists sharing their work, you know, as well, because like maybe they're inspired by the stuff you do, you know. It's like that would be like, you know, really nice, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, coming from someone that, I mean, I'll be honest, like, I play a lot of video games, but that's usually what I do. But I do appreciate when, like people introduce me to stuff that they've made or they really like to showcase
Hmm.
what they do, and I go like, oh, that's so amazing. I like that because it shows like you have a willingness to let other people who may not have like an idea, but they will appreciate where you come from when you like give a small detail, like a little small, not, I wouldn't exactly call it a like a like a very short TDL, no, TLDR kind of version. It's more like you get to show them like the work in progresses, your progression, and how you like build it from here to here. Like you know how like I think you've probably done this before from what I've seen. Like you ever had like a the version of one art that you made years ago compared to the one that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
reworked
yeah.
into now.
Like a
Yeah, like
redraw. Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly, like a redraw. It really shows them like, wow, you've improved since then, and I can't believe like this is the same, the same concept that you made years ago. Like, actually, keep it up, man. Like, that's amazing. That's the feedback and like the comment you want to hear because you can tell that they've seen that the big difference has changed, and they go, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. That's like a good thing as well. The redraws is like gauging it for yourself as well to see how much you've improved for yourself, you know? See like looking at the stuff you drew back then and then seeing like have I really improved? What do I like about what I did then and what do I like what has stayed the same and what's changed about my style, you know? It gives like
Yeah.
not only does it give you confidence, it also shows people who look at your art like exactly like, you know, like how much you've improved and stuff like that. Yeah, that
Plus, it
kind of thing.
also is like, yeah. Plus, it also is like a reflection to you as an artist to really look back and say, "Wow, like I remember I was used to struggle doing this, or I was going with this style for so long that." And after a while, I go to myself, "Wow, I really have improved a lot since then." And especially, as an artist, you can tell yourselves that it's like when it's like you really take the time to reflect on like how further you've become and how much your skill has developed over time, and it's like a good feeling, I had to imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
That's wonderful. And for the final question that we have here, so as a content creator, what is like the focus that you are interested in doing right now? I mean, I think it's kind of like a two-in-one question since you just mentioned what you are interested in doing in the future. But I
Yeah.
think one thing would be, fitting to ask is like, what would be like your current focus? Like for example, like you said, you want to grow a small community
Mm-hmm.
or get back into streams. Like what's like the current task that you feel like you're trying to work through right now?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I was saying like you said, it's basically just like, you know, my focus is like to build up like a small community, get more consistent, you know. I'm like not looking to join any sort of like networks or anything like you know, like company networks, you know. Like I mainly just want to focus like straight on like this is gonna be like my community. This is like, you know, obviously taking on like, you know, like sponsorships for like games and stuff would be good in the future, you know, for games I enjoy. But like I'm
Hmm.
not exactly looking to join like a network or anything like that. Like if you know what I mean, like trying to
Yeah, I get
yeah.
what you mean. Like you want to have like an organic kind of
Yeah.
community-based growth. Like you want to
Mhm.
be like attached to a more organic composure around you instead of like going something more corporate. Because I mean, just
Yeah.
putting this out there, I think when you do, I think it's much better with organic because, like I said, you have more of a creative freedom, and
That's
it's not,
exactly right.
yeah, not it's not also peer pressuring to do stuff that you may not even know about because there might be at times like I like to imagine. I mean, this is just from my perspective since I used to seeing some people go from organic to corporate.
Yeah.
it's like you could do this, but you're kind of required to do this, even if it means like you had to stay more days. And I often would see some people go, "Oh, I don't feel like I want to really do this, but I have
Yeah.
to just to still stay consistent of what I have to do for, obviously some kind of benefit." But I'm glad that that sounds like you're more like interested in being an organic growth because to me
Hmm.
that's a little bit more well, not really just real, but it's more
Yeah. Like
sincere to
personal.
yourself.
Because I
Yeah.
feel like I've seen this happen quite a lot. I feel like when you join like a company or whatever, in the end you like when all things said and done, like you can lose the love you once had for the medium because like you're forced to do things that you don't like. You know, you're not allowed to do some of the things you love. Like a lot of those like things restrict you from playing certain games or doing certain things. Like basically like you do get to choose like your kind of focus, but a lot of the time you can't just like say like I want to do this project because then it has to go through multiple places, you know, and stuff like that, like
Yep.
multiple levels
Do
of like
review.
corporate.
Yeah,
And
like they
it's
gotta
just
go
like,
through. Yeah.
yeah, it's just like I feel like it's a lot more personal and a lot more like true to yourself basically, like being like a, you know, like organic growth like you said.
Yeah, true. And then like I was gonna mention this with like if you wanted to do something different, but it's like your own idea, it would have to first go through some kind of review, then it would have to go to HR in some kind of way, then it has to go to PR, then it has to go through
Hmm.
like a bunch of revisions, board of directors and stuff like that, and then you basically would wait. I mean, from what I remember, to some interactions, it's like you would get a response a week or 2 weeks later, all of them for them to just say no, just
Yeah,
a
I
big
know.
giant
Yeah.
no. And it's like, what was the point of even like drafting an idea? And then suddenly the love of the whole thing starts to drain out little by little.
Yeah, because
That's
that's one of
that.
the, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad that in a way that like it shows like honestly based on besides besides you here, like we had like a few previous guests that truly showed that they seem like they're more interested in organic growth as creatives. So I think one question that comes to mind, like, is it like, I mean, okay, not really more like a question, it's more like a perspective. Do you feel like it's much better just to basically grow organically until you feel like you're ready to sort of like go to a place where you feel like okay, I mean, like you could go to something kind of corporate, but I think it's like if it comes if it kind of goes along with your goals, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like it could be like a possibility, you know, for some people, but as of right now, I personally can't imagine seeing myself wanting to do that, you know?
Yeah.
Like really ever, because like a lot of the times, depending on which, you know, obviously you do your research and it really does depend like company by company, but like a lot of these companies that even seem like they're great companies can have like tons of flaws, you know? Obviously not
Hmm.
like, you know, saying stuff, but mainly just like the fact that like a lot there's only like a few companies that I know of that when you're like done with the company you can keep your stuff, you know, like you'd basically have to change your designs, you'd have to change like your like, you know, you can't speak about your previous things like projects you've done
Oh,
as
I
that person.
see.
And it's like
Yeah,
any
that's
art or stuff you've done there is of like like it's all attributed to like your character instead of like you as a person, you know? It really feels like that kind of way, you know? Like a lot of the things like you get like what's the word? Like the achievements are yours and like there's nothing they can do to take it from you, but you can't publicly state like these are things that I've done in the past, you know? Because there's like
yeah,
NDAs and
like you
stuff, and
can't.
it's kind of like it's kind of sucks, honestly, in my
And
opinion.
I believe that. That's like saying you want to put this in a resume or something like that, but you publicly cannot because
Hmm.
legally by some kind of clouds or something, you can, and that does
Yeah,
suck. Yeah.
because like it's just like imagine you like say like you wanted to like made like a really thing like something you're really proud of, and it's like on like a channel somewhere else that you don't even have access to anymore. Like they privated all your videos and stuff. It's like what even happened to that? You have to basically rely on your fans to keep that stuff alive. you know?
Is that yeah? Like you have to rely on outside sources to keep that alive,
Mm-hmm.
and even if they could, it's also like a bit hard to do because the minute it could happen any moment, like you say, like if you're like say removed from this, and they could prioritize this and that. Another
Yeah.
problem would be like probably they would never expected that, and then the access to that is completely limited, or if not restricted at all, and that again is like a sad thing to see or hear about.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Honestly, I'm really glad that we had a lot of discussions here because there was a lot that, honestly, even before we did the questions, it felt like a really genuine, like, speak. Because, you and I are both creatives and we both know what it's like to truly, you know, dig our time to really grow and, really figure out what to do with these things. And, coming from me, who's been at this stuff for 12 years on my own end of things, and then there's, what you do for I don't know how many years you've been up to with,
Yeah.
whether it be as an artist and a VTuber. I had to imagine that just growing was takes a lot of time.
It does. Like for sure. Like no matter like what creative you're doing, it's gonna take a lot of effort. I mean,
That is true. That is true.
I've been doing art at least on like Twitter for like since 2017, but
Oh wow.
I don't think I started doing streams really. I can check, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't until like 2018, 2019, something like that.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, it was like 2020, like 2021 or something is when I started streaming like on Twitch. But yeah,
I gotcha. Wow, that's like like different years, different perspectives and everything. Well, different startups and how you came to be with all of that. That's impressive though.
yeah,
Well, that will be it for today's podcast. Well, for today's episode of Content Creator Spotlight. So I want to thank Kage or Kagerimi again once for joining into today's podcast episode. So tell me, what did you think about interacting through all of this? How did you feel?
yeah. It was really fun, like getting to like talk about the stuff I like doing, and like having a nice conversation about like games and like growth and community stuff. It's like it really like reinstates like the goals that you have in mind. It makes you like think about a ton of stuff. It's like, yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm glad to hear that, and I'm glad that it's giving you a lot to really reflect about. I mean, we literally just talked about that, like, really showcase the fact that when you do something, or when you redraw something, or you really reinstate and re-evaluate yourself, like from where you started to now. It gives you like a better sense of like, you know what, I want to do this now because I actually ventured to this, and I'm more motivated to do this whole thing. I like to imagine that's the feeling you're getting, kind of, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I'm really glad to hear that. So, before I do basically, say our farewell, well, before we say our farewells, is there like what's like the most that people would like to you want people to follow you at, like your Twitch, your
yeah.
socials, and everything?
If it's for my what you call it, if it's for my streams, it's Twitch, and if it's for my art, it's like Twitter.
Alrighty.
Uh,
We'll definitely leave like a little thing on the video here, and also like we'll leave a description as well, just in case guys are interested. Definitely please check out Kagerimi's streams, and also be able to check out his his socials as well. He's really someone that I really do like the art that he's putting out, and I can tell you like it's very very struggling to really build a lot of things, especially within the recent years. So any kind of support, even if it's just a heart, a like, even a good comment, anything really counts. So help a homie out, help out Kagerimi build some, build up the numbers and also build some support. And I really appreciate it a lot, guys, honestly. Anyway, with that, that concludes today's podcast episode. So I am here with Kagerimi. So as we're concluding this, I'd like to thank you all for watching today's podcast. So this is Shock Roller, and
Kagerimi.
we are both signing off for now. And tune in next time as we bring in another VTuber guest, someone that probably might have been hinted like a secret character, but in the meantime, we'll see you guys in a future collab. But that's definitely we're gonna be doing soon. That's for sure. But
Hmm.
yeah, we'll definitely be in a future collab at some point, or who knows what the future will bring. Until then, this is Shockroller and Kagaribi signing off. Take care, guys.
Yeah.